that people are bad. But I do believe we have a very strong tendency to fear and mistrust that which we don't know and that which we don't understand. And one way we counter this is by educating ourselves and informing ourselves. And that's why today I'm going to be gaysplaining the lesser known terms of LGBTIQA, and I want to tell you a story at the end, a personal story that hopefully explains why this matters. Alright, so asexuals are people who do not experience sexual attraction. They do fall in love, they do have relationships, they can have sex, but they do not experience sexual attraction. It's the way allosexuals, which I guess the majority of you here is, do. Very important to note, like many things, sexuality is a spectrum, and on that spectrum we have demisexuality. Demisexuals are people who only experience a sexual attraction after they have an emotional connection with someone. And you can ask me questions about what this means later on. Polyamory is loving more than one person at the same time. Very important here is consent and transparency for all parties involved, and polyamory is not the same thing as having an open relationship. Transgender people are people whose biological gender does not match their gender identity. And an interesting side note here is that in the United States, in 41 of the US states, homophobia and transphobia is used as a legal defense, as a legal tactic to help justify and get away with killing queer people. Google it if you don't believe me. Intersex people, and by the way, yes, these are the flags, so maybe you can recognize them at Pride Parade later this year. Intersex people are people who are born with variations in sex characteristics like chromosomes, hormones, or reproductive organs. And a problem that society creates for intersex people is that if a child is born with both male and female reproductive organs, the parents are often asked by the doctors to decide which ones should be removed. And of course that can lead to serious problems because there's a 50% chance of getting it wrong. So that the gender identity is not going to match what the person is once they grow up. So they're fighting for laws that make that illegal, so that they can decide who they want to be when they grow up. Those are just 5 terms, and a question that I hear very often is, why the hell do we need so many labels? Why do you need to come up with a new term for every single thing? Why can't we just be? And I believe this comes from the fact that labels have a very negative history. Labels have been historically used to ostracize and exclude groups of people based on identity, based on gender, based on race, based on illnesses. You see, I'm not abled. No. You're disabled. You're Asian, you're mentally ill, and you're gay. Me? I don't need a label because I'm the default. And because you are different, you're the one who gets the label. So, of course, with that context, I understand that we have hesitation with labels. We don't like them. So I want to tell you a story about how labels can be positive and uplifting when self-assigned. By the time I was 9, I had lived in 3 countries and attended 5 schools. The countries were all different languages. The schools were international and local. And I did not feel like I belonged in any of those schools, in any of those cultures, in any of those countries. I felt like an outsider for my parents' culture, for the culture of my host countries. I didn't really connect with the local kids either. And then I came across the term third culture kid. Third culture kids are kids whose parents are from one culture and they grow up in a second culture, and as a result the kids are not fully part of either of the 2 cultures but a culture of their own. And for me that term, when I came across it, it explained and put into words how I had been feeling up until then, up until my teenage years basically. It's validated my feelings for me and told me that it's okay to feel this way, that it's not that I'm a freak, I'm normal, I'm just different. Not good different, not bad different, just different. And it told me that there are other people like me who feel like me and who don't really feel like they belong anywhere, but at the same time belong everywhere. And the same way that this term has been so validating for me and helped me understand who I am and understand where I belong, in the same way the LGBTIQA terms help us understand who we are, explain to us how we feel and put it into words, and it helps us realize that we're not alone, and knowing that you're not alone and how you're feeling is extremely, extremely powerful. I've been using the term third culture kid to explain to other people why, when they ask me where are you from, I cannot give you a single answer the way many people can. I see you nodding along. And so what I would like you to take away from this is that the next time someone says, well, why do you need so many labels? Isn't it superfluous? Can't you just exist? Hopefully, you will not just say, well, yeah, you're right. And understand that labels validate people and that they do have a positive impact on people's lives. Thank you.